Hello everyone, this is Valis2501 here, and this is the first video in what will hopefully be a series of videos in collaboration with Captain Meme, where I go over a gunboat game and I try to figure out what people are going to do, why they did it, and if we can take away any lessons from the game. So I have it up here on my screen, and let's go right into it. So this is spring of 1901, and it's possibly the most standard spring 1901 gunboat game I have ever seen. So we have a standard northern opening by England that allows him to take Norway by convoy with support if need be, but also look at the lowlands in Denmark. We have France grabbing the English Channel while forcing Burgundy, and this will allow him to get both Portugal and Spain for free, essentially. So he's guaranteed both not only two builds, but a fairly safe border with Germany. Germany is slightly maybe off standard, but I wouldn't call it that because this is probably like the second most popular opening, where instead of moving to Denmark, which would give him more control over the Scandinavian countries, he moves to Holland, which gives him more control over Belgium in the North Sea. But otherwise, he's also just grabbing his neutrals. So if you watch my other videos, which aren't released yet, or if you read any of my commentary in things like the Gunboat School of War, you know that I don't favor this. I much rather prefer Munich to Ruhr, because there's an incredibly strong meta right now in the community of forcing Burgundy from Paris with Marseille support, and it's not unreasonable for France to do that at all. There's a reason why it's an incredibly popular opening. So I just don't even bother, and I go straight to Ruhr. But this isn't the worst move in the world, especially if you're worried about losing Munich. Then knowing that you'll have a unit there isn't a bad thing per se. Standard southern opening by Russia. Just Sweden's guaranteed, which is always nice to see as Russia. And then the bounce in Galicia you can count on 95% of the time. And then going to Ukraine to give influence over the Balkan region. Again, Black Sea. As Russia, you'll mostly go to the Black Sea every time. Some people, as Turkey, prefer not to, and they will let you into the Black Sea. But going straight to Romania generally isn't advisable. Because if Turkey gets the Black Sea, life becomes very hard for you, especially if they get it in the spring. And when you're bringing Moscow down to Ukraine, you can almost assuredly get it anyways. Speaking of Turkey, we have the standard Turkish opening here. I'm not a fan of it because Bulgaria is not going to do much useful. Constantinople is not going to do anything useful whatsoever here. And Ankara can either bounce and get in the Black Sea, get the Black Sea, assuming Sevastopol goes through Romania, or support something to Romania, but then you're probably going to be building Fleet Smyrna, unless you have some strange obsession with attacking Russia off the bat, and now your fleets are separated. So I don't prefer this opening, but it's fairly safe in the short term, and it doesn't really declare any enemies or friendships yet. So we'll see where that goes. We have a standard southern gambit with Austria. You'll see this a lot because it's the most safe way to get two builds. If you allow Russia into Galicia, it just becomes a nightmare as it borders two of your home centers and Romania, which you may be eyeing. So you'll almost always see Vienna to Galicia. You want to grab Serbia before it can be contested with Bulgaria because there's a 100% chance of Khan to Bul. And then you're only getting one build, right? Because you're stuck in Vienna, not next to any neutrals. And this Serbia unit can't claim more than one center this turn. So the only way to get another build, really, is to get Greece. And in a non-press game, it's very hard for Greece to be taken away from you. The idea that both Italy and Turkey want to screw you over in year 01 and properly coordinate to do so is small. It's called a gambit, right, because you're leaving Trieste open for Venice to take it, but you'll often see Italy want the AI. Fighting, if an early RT develops, then pissing off Austria as Italy may not be your best bet, and you both get rolled over. So speaking of Italy, right, you're always going to see Naples to Ionian, probably. couple percent of the time, someone will go to Tyrrhenian just really for the lulls to declare an attack on France. But it's just strictly worse. Rome to Apulia, you never go Rome to Naples. So Rome to Apulia is strictly better in the sense that Apulia can support hold Venice if need be, while it's just as convoyable by the Ionian Sea to Tunis. So this is a standard Italian opening. There's other standard Italian openings that are more aggressive, such as moving Venice to Trieste or Venice to Tyrolia, Rome to Venice. But this is a more conservative one, and you'll see this a lot. So right now, we just have everyone trying to grab their neutral centers, nobody really making an enemy of anyone yet, and let's see what happens in the fall of 01. So, there we go. So we have a convoy to Denmark by England. I normally disapprove of this. I think you know for a fact, you know 100% that Germany is going to try to take Denmark. So you know you're not getting Denmark. You're really only doing that as a way to declare war against Germany, which in 1901, with a very safe and strong France, a Russia that's completely not denied Sweden, I just don't know if that's the correct line of play. I'm going to pretend that I haven't seen the builds right now. That's just a function of WebDip, unfortunately, that they don't have them in a separate phase. Right, so no surprise that France took the Iberian neutrals, and no surprise we have a convoy to Tunis. So Bulgaria went to Greece, but you're never going to get it. You're never going to get it. Don't know why you would do that, except to signal hostility to Austria. You know he's going to go for Greece. If you really wanted to deny Greece, you would move to Serbia in order to cut support. If that way, if Italy was on board and went to Greece, you would actually deprive him of it. And I'm going to talk about builds real quick here. And like I said, you're almost certainly going to build Fleet Smyrna as Turkey when there's any idea of an AI. And now your fleets are just completely separated from each other. So forcing Romania with Ukraine is interesting. One allows Turkey into the Black Sea, but you're probably not worried about it at this point because Turkey's looking like a friend. And in addition, this allows you to move west, right? So if you take Romania with the fleet, that fleet cannot move against Budapest or Serbia or Galicia, right? So taking Romania with the fleet signals friendliness to Austria. Taking Romania with the army, I would say, signals much more friendliness to Turkey. Okay. Speaking of builds, let's see if there's anything interesting. So the most interesting thing here is Fleet South Coast, St. Petersburg. And this is one of those builds that signals I'm going after Germany, right? There's no other reason to build it on the south coast there. It could be a feint. We could see Moscow to St. Pete to Gob, and like Sweden to Skagerrak or something. But that's unlikely. It seems like he's going after Russia. We could see war to Selesnya, Moscow to Warsaw, something like that would be quite possible. England built Fleet Edinburgh, trying to signal again friendliness to France. Right? He's saying, let's EF up, let's take out Germany. No particular indication that France is getting the message or wants to. Building Fleet Bray is more than acceptable and probably the correct choice. You never want to have less than 2 fleets going into year 02 with France. Even if you don't plan on going against England, it's important to have the ability to dislodge or hold a sea territory. It's not clear where France is going to go right now, other than the fact that all his neighbors seem to be fighting someone else. So, and especially as a powerful country as France, that's a great place to be. Fleet Berlin is really the only option here. You need more naval power to take Denmark, and the other 2 centers are filled. Nothing interesting. Army Trieste, Army Budapest. Army Budapest is mandatory. You only build Fleet Trieste if you're incredibly arrogant and you're already planning to solo in the spring of 1902, or if you want to attack Italy. That's the basic logic here, right? So Italy has more than enough naval power to take out Turkey with your fleet in Greece. The only reason to build another fleet in Trieste is to attack Italy right there. So Austria's just going to be building armies, and if he wants the AI, he's going to be forcing Galicia, and then hopefully forcing Romania or Bulgaria. With the Moscow build, so I talked about how could be an interesting feint north, but it's unlikely. Warsaw, Silesia, Moscow. Warsaw is possible as well as if he wants to go full on Germany. However, it's probably going to fill in Ukraine. Russia seems committed to this southern theater right now, which is why the fleet St. Petersburg was surprising, because that's such an aggressive, loud move, right? It's loud because it declares intentions, and it's weird to have such a loud move in the northern theater when there's still this huge battle raging on, and you already sent down Moscow originally to the south. So, as far as predictions go, we're probably gonna see something such as Greece to Aegean, Serbia to Greece, Trieste to Serbia, Budapest supports Vienna to Galicia, Ionian, Eastern Med, Naples to Ionian. Smyrna is going to cover one of the options, probably Aegean, because it allows him to attack Greece more. And then, unfortunately, the Black Sea can only be used to protect Bulgaria or to attack Russia or to signal friendliness. So we may see something like Black Sea supports Bulgaria, or even Black Sea supports Romania. And Bulgaria and Romania, hopefully, one attacks Serbia, one supports the attack, but it's very hard to coordinate that in a gunboat. When in doubt, it should probably be Bulgaria attacks Serbia, Romania supports Bulgaria to Serbia, and that's because Bulgaria is the one who should be doing the attacking, because there's more reinforcements for Turkey waiting to get to the front line, right? Warsaw and Moscow are 2 spaces away from the front line and from Romania, whereas Constantinople has nowhere to go, nowhere useful except to fill in Bulgaria. So that you want to get Bulgaria into Austria as soon as possible. And as far as the West goes, that's such a clusterfuck, and we have so many people just declaring war immediately. I would expect something such as Paris to Picardy, Burgundy support holds Munich, or some other offer of friendship. He doesn't have to take Belgium right away. It's probably safer to protect Burgundy. Right, so Spain, Gascony, Portugal, Mid-Atlantic, Bray, English Channel, and France is just in such a powerful position here. And as far as England goes, the fleet in Edinburgh, if he's not going to attack Russia, right? If he's not going to attack Russia, it has to go to the North Sea. If it's going to the North Sea has to move, which means it can't convoy. So there's a lot of anti-synergy here because he got knowingly bounced, right? I mean, he knew he was going to get bounced in Denmark. You'll note that Holland went to North Sea last turn. That's also very aggressive. It seems like both England and Germany are doing their best to court France, and really wish I was in his shoes right now. So let's see what happened. Right, so Russia did send it south. He can't afford to ignore that theater per se. Right, like I said, Burgundy supports Munich. Spain to Marseille, it's almost equivalent to Spain to Gascony. I mean, the whole point is to get yourself out of Iberia and more into the fray. I think Gascony is a little stronger because it can go to Bray or convoyed by Mid-Atlantic. So, for example, if you did Gascony to Wales via Mao and English Channel convoy, he definitely wouldn't see it coming. Not that France can't destroy England right here. I should probably stop talking about that because it's obvious and it's really strong and it's making me mad, right? Otherwise, everything I said for France, I didn't make any exact predictions for England because I was just so unsure how it was going to go. And it seems he's continuing on his rampage against Germany. So he's filling in Heligolyte land. He's moving to Skagerrak. He's not even trying to slip into St. Petersburg, which he could obviously do. I didn't cover it last turn because it's just declaring another enemy needlessly right now. He needs Russia on his side. And Russia seems to want to be on his side, to be fair. This Swedish support, however, I can't exactly tell where it was going. I think it may have been pointing to... Sweden supports... Oh, Sweden supporting the convoy Yorkshire to Denmark. So that would have worked if he chose to do it. But like I said, there's an anti-synergy there with you want to move Ingberg to North Sea, but you can't if you're convoying. What would probably have been more conservative is do the convoy and move Ingberg to like Clyde or something for the inevitable French attack. But sometimes people like to be aggressive, and there's nothing wrong with that. As far as German moves go, Holland supported Burgundy to Belgium, it looks like, while self-bouncing in Ruhr. And like I said for the last turn, there's no reason that France needed to take Belgium last turn. All it does is make Burgundy more vulnerable. So I don't agree with that at all. I think being friends with France is not up to him, and that support, France already knows he wants to be friends. France already knows, the whole board knows, that Germany and England have decided to kill him for some reason this early in the game. And that fleet could have been used in a much more useful way, such as going to North Sea again, or going to, maybe it's easy to argue he couldn't have predicted Heligolyte land, but, just going to North Sea again would have been useful, more useful. And self-bouncing in Ruhr, you don't want to show friendship to France and also show that kind of paranoia. And so this is one thing that I think is important for Gunboat. There's a certain point where you have to throw out worst case scenario because it's just not useful to think about. So what do I mean? Here, Germany knows that England and Russia are against him. It's plain as day. If he makes plans or takes into consideration the idea of France also attacking him, such as Burgundy to Ruhr, he's just completely doomed, right? If all your neighbors, if every single one of your neighbors is attacking you, you're gonna die no matter what, basically. And at a certain point, you say, okay, 2 of my 3 neighbors are all out attacking me. Playing defensive against the third one is just useless, right? If France goes full out anti-German, he dies no matter what. You might as well go defend against the other 2, right? So I do not understand why Kiel did not move to Denmark. I think Germany is making the wrong kind of defensive moves here. Let's look at the Eastern Theater. So, okay, Turkey went Eastern Med rather than Aegean, which is fine. He knew one of those 2 was going to work. But like I said, right, so instead of supporting Vienna to Galicia, Budapest attacked Romania. That's fine. It's, Romania could have supported Bulgaria to Serbia instead, or supported Warsaw to Galicia. So you're getting rid of both. So it did support Warsaw to Galicia, and you're getting rid of both of those either way. So if you know that you're not going to get Galicia, you might as well, rather than supporting Vienna to Galicia, you might as well cut their support in case they supported something else. Right, and like I said, Trieste to Serbia, Serbia to Greece, Greece to Aegean. We have a classic AI there's RT situation, and a classic Turkey's Black Sea Fleet is stuck. All right, this is a lot of passive play from Turkey, and it's not going to end well, I don't think. So let's talk about predictions for the next turn. France is probably going to go ham on England. I think it's too hard to pass up not only the great tactical position, but the fact that Germany and England are fighting so much. You're probably going to see Burgundy to Belgium, Marseille to Burgundy. So there's a couple different options for the English attack. There's Mid-Atlantic to Irish Sea with English Channel convoying. And that's your best bet there. You're probably not going to see a English channel just going straight to Wales or London. It's probably going to be a channel convoy from Picardy. So if I had to guess, it would be Picardy to Wales via English Channel convoy and Mid-Atlantic to Irish Sea. For England, you know, if he was rational, he would pull back. Because you can defend the island from this with, definitely with 4 units, even with 3 units, to be honest. And you don't have to worry about the German retaliation because Russia's got your back. But he's probably going to keep on pressing. So we'll see Heligolyte Bland to Denmark with Skagerrak support. Yorkshire to Wales. Right, so Yorkshire covering Wales and London, and Picardy / English Channel going to Wales and London is just a coin toss, right? It's wine in front of me. I think that you're gonna think that I'm gonna think that you're gonna think that I'm gonna think situation, and you just have to go with your gut instinct. So it's not completely coin toss, 50-50 like, because there's different implications between London and Wales, right? Because London is a supply center, not to mention the fact that they're just different territories. Like Wales, attacks both Liverpool and London, whereas London itself is a supply center. But at the end of the day, that's an intuition thing. And because France is in such a strong position, if I was England, I would go France is in a strong position. Therefore, France is willing to play it slow. Therefore, he'll go for Wales, right? That's my prediction there. As far as the South goes, it's just so hard. So you're going to see Aegean to Constantinople. Not Aegean supports something because it's too easy for Smyrna to cut that, right? So you're going to see Aegean to Constantinople, and then maybe Greece to Bulgaria. If Black Sea keeps supporting Bulgaria, they can't get it quite yet. So the RT still have a somewhat defensible situation. So I take that back, actually. It's quite possible to see Aegean supports Ionian to Eastern Med, because with the introduction of Ukraine, Romania and Bulgaria cannot be forced until they have Eastern Mediterranean, right? So let's run that down real quick. There are 3 units on Bulgaria. There are two units defending it. That's equal. There are 3 possible units on Romania, Galicia, Budapest, and Serbia. But there's already 2 units that can defend it, Ukraine and Sevastopol, and they haven't even gotten Galicia yet. So at the end of the day, they need Eastern Med, because now with Eastern Med, Constantinople has to choose between defending Smyrna or Bulgaria, not to mention there's the Syria convoy attack, and now there's too many options for the RT to handle, and that will most definitely crumble. So we're going to say Aegean supports Ionian to Eastern Med. Yep, there we go. So that's just mandatory, and now there's far too many options. Far too many options. Oh, you'll notice Italy covered Piedmont there, because that was a weird move to Marseille. Gascony is just strictly better for getting to Burgundy. I don't move Marseille unless you really want to piss off Italy. It's not a direct attack, but it's just weird, right? Italy's going to look at that and go, why Marseille? Why not Gascony, right? Right, so we had Venice Piedmont, we had the correct Lepanto continuation. Austria played defensive until those units could get into the proper location. Okay, that was a mistake. Romania support held Bulgaria. Absolutely unnecessary. Must have been purely because one wanted to show friendship again, but at this point you know it's AI versus RT. There's no point begging Turkey to be your friend. He must have thought Romania was going to get cut, because it's just strictly better to be useful with Romania's support Warsaw to Galicia again, which would have succeeded. So I think Russia outfought himself, and he should have supported that. But as it stands, Galicia is going to be empty yet again. So it's, yeah, so England covered Wales, right? This is an interesting. So Germany is screwed here. And it's not that it's unlikely France would attack Germany. It's that if, like I said before, Germany just can't entertain the possibility. Germany can't defend against Russia, England, and France simultaneously. So he has to hope that one of them isn't attacking him, and the other two already were. So sorry, Germany, you're absolutely screwed. Um, and that's just how it is. Nothing more to say there. Sometimes that happens. Munich just held. There's some weird stuff going on. Like North Sea going through Belgium. Why is North Sea going through Belgium? France is going to get Belgium. You know France is going to get Belgium. Should have gone more for Denmark. Yeah, and like Heligoid land to Kiel? What? I mean, what? No, I don't understand this at all. So maybe he was trying to sneak into Kiel, but if he was trying to sneak into Kiel, he should have let Germany have Denmark. But that's not going to happen because there's no way Germany's attacking from Kiel. He's going to attack from Baltic, where he knows he's going to get dislodged from Russian fleets. I just don't approve of England's play here, and it's really hard for me to understand why he's making the moves he does. Notice that Baltic fleet was disbanded rather than retreated, and was rebuilt in Berlin as an army. So, France gets one build, right? Army Marseille, which, it's his own fault that Venice is in Piedmont. And he probably knows that, and building Army Marseille is his apology. Army Marseille says, look, I didn't mean for this border to be contentious. I'm not going to be building southern fleets. Please don't take Marseille. Army Piedmont is not aggressive by Italy whatsoever, because you know that it can't go farther. Right, France and Piedmont's different, because suddenly you're threatening Tuscany and Tyrol as well. But Italy and Piedmont, that's not aggressive by Italy. That's just keeping France honest. Any other builds here? No, not particularly. So this is going to be spring of 1903 then, I believe. And it's hard to tell where France is going to go here. France has an excellent position in Ruhr, but Berlin's going to be support holding Munich. Kiel's going to be support holding Holland. So now France can't be sure that he'll take either one. He can't move further inland. And I really disagree with taking Belgium with the fleet. So the only place to go further is Holland or North Sea. If he took it with Picardy, he would have had a lot more options. Right now, Picardy does nothing. Right? Nothing whatsoever. So what's going to happen? Well, first off, let's look at the south here. So Smyrna has to choose to cover Smyrna or Syria, right? Can't do both. Because it's Gunboat, knowing Austria will support Eastern Med to Smyrna, or if he wants to support Aegean to Smyrna and bring Ionian in, it's just a lot harder to coordinate. So I would default to guessing we'll see a convoy to Syria. And that's another 50-50 coin toss. Is he convoying straight to Smyrna or to Syria? You might see Black Sea to Constantinople, Constantinople to Smyrna, Smyrna to Syria to try to cover all the convoy options. But it gives up defensive power on Bulgaria, right? Because the Black Sea is now cuttable. Whereas in the Black Sea now is strong in that it's uncuttable currently. So we're going to say a convoy to Syria / Smyrna. If I was Turkey, I would cover Syria. And then Austria can now start looking at trying to force Bulgaria, right? Because if he uses up Constantinople each turn, eventually Italy will guess right. And if you're in the IA, that's fine. As far as Galicia goes, he might realize now that he can lose that battle if Romania is not cut. So we might see something like Serbia cutting Romania, because it doesn't seem like Russia and Turkey are knowledgeable or trustful enough to support each other, one or the other, attacking Serbia from Romania or Bulgaria, right? So that's why you always check these kind of supports, because you can look at the map and say, look, these guys are not working together. Serbia is not, under attack so much that I have to hold it with Greece. So if I was Austria, I would be doing something such as Aegean to Khan, Greece to Bulgaria, Serbia to Romania, Vienna to Galicia, Budapest support Vienna to Galicia. As far as Russia goes, he should do the same thing as last term, but use Serbia to support. If Austria is that paranoid about Serbia, exploit it. Use Romania to get Galicia. And once you get Galicia, things are looking much more solid. All right, let's go back to the north. I mean, Germany just has to hold and hope that England or France makes a move against each other, right? Russia gets Denmark probably. Even though England has 3 units on Denmark, he still hasn't made a significant attempt to take it. And if he takes Denmark, suddenly Russia has little to nowhere to go, right? Maybe Russia can take Berlin with some shenanigans, but after that, it's hard. So, as England, I would want to give Russia Denmark probably, and focus on defense of the mainland, maybe getting Holland and Belgium, maybe Kiel. So we're probably going to see. So it's rough. It's rough because what I would do and what this England would do are very different things. I would probably do Wales support North Sea to London, Skagerrak to North Sea, Helioglyte Bland support Skagerrak to North Sea, right? Here, we might see something different, such as Skagerrak to North Sea, Helioglyte Bland, support North Sea to Holland, right? North Sea to Holland. Wales to London for good measure. All right. A lot going on. All right, so Italy correctly guessed what Turkey incorrectly guessed. And he got the convoy straight to Smyrna with support from Aegean, it looks like. So that's some good communication there. Some very good communication. Black Sea dropping to Constantinople as Sevastopol comes into Black Sea is ridiculously coordinated. Captain Meme told me this was a gunboat, and most of it looks like a gunboat, but that's fishy. That's fishy. How would he know that? Interesting. Okay. So what Turkey is doing here is Turkey's just drawing back, right? Drawing back. Ankara is basically an uncuttable support hold to the AI. And he's just saying, I'm going to defend these 3 centers. I think this is giving up on Bulgaria, right? Because if he guessed correctly on the coin toss between Smyrna and Syria, he would have a very strong position. But as it stands now, not so much. Not so much, right? Any help from the Aegean Sea to Smyrna is going to hold that. So Eastern Med is going to support hold Smyrna. And then if Aegean goes to Constantinople or support hold Smyrna, so the support hold Smyrna is actually a lot more confident. If he goes to Constantinople, then they could attack from Constantinople, and Bulgaria to Khan would still save it. So it would have to be Aegean support Smyrna, Eastern Med support Smyrna, Ionian probably support hold Aegean. Not the correct time to stab Austria, I don't think. And then Austria can do some shenanigans here. Still hasn't gotten Galicia. He correctly, right, attacked Romania. He knew that support wasn't going through. It looks like Romania was supporting Bulgaria to Serbia, however. So that's a missed opportunity by Turkey. Russia really saying, we need to make some moves now. We need to be proactive here because we're going to lose it over the long term as it stood. So Bulgaria supported Black Sea to Constantinople. That's not very interesting. So the East is going about just about how we predicted, except for this whll Sev Blah Balkan thing, which is more than understandable. I've seen it before. I just didn't think they coordinated that well. So as far as next turn goes, there's a lot of little battles again. There's the little battle over Smyrna. There's the little battle over Bulgaria, right? So if Constantinople is moving to Smyrna or supporting a move to Smyrna, it's not holding Bulgaria, right? In Black Sea, it's probably not holding Bulgaria. It's probably holding Romania. So suddenly, Bulgaria is lost, right? Romania has to choose between winning the Galicia mini war or support holding Bulgaria. And that might not even work, right? So it's perfectly fine for Austria to lose Galicia here in exchange for Romania or Bulgaria. So I could completely see Budapest to Romania, right? Serbia supports Greece to Bulgaria. And you know what? Austria can be greedy and say, you know what, Italy, you got this. Let me just support myself in Bulgaria. Because if you lose Galicia but gain a build, that's fine. Because you can use that build to then win back Galicia. So as far as the north goes, right, exactly how I said, right, France is making no more incoming builds from Germany, has to go after England. So we do see Belgium to North Sea. English Channel supports Belgium to North Sea. Unfortunately for him, England saw that Heligoland land, supported North Sea as North Sea supported Skagerrak to Denmark. Excellent. So Baltic to Sweden, Sweden to Norway. I touched upon this a little last turn, but Russia needs a source of builds after Denmark or after Berlin. And it's just not obvious where those would come from. I think that's a fine move. This England player seems pretty emotional. He might not be okay with this, but it allows further moves, and now that Germany has effectively no fleets against them, right? His only fleet is in Holland. Holland's not going back to Scandinavia anytime soon, probably not ever. Germany's Eastern Fleet was rebuilt as an army in Berlin, so suddenly Russia has no reason to be scared of that region and can go take those easy builds in Scandinavia. So good on Germany for that. England can't do anything about it. Tried to take Ruhr back, and with the obvious Berlin support hold Munich, but that wasn't going to happen. France has too many armies to give up that battle. Honestly, France has too many armies in general. He should have built a third fleet. He should have gone after England. He's still in a strong position, but he wasted time for no reason, and he's letting England and Germany make peace. Not good. Not good at all. Alright. So, what happened here? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. If I am reading this correctly, Ankara issued an incorrect support. So, for this Smyrna microenvironment, there is only Eastern Med support Smyrna, Smyrna hold, and then Constantinople to Smyrna, Syria support move Constantinople to Smyrna, but look at the Ankara support. Not only is it cut, i.e. a failure, it's not cut, it's a failure. It was a failed support, but there's nothing around to cut it. And so the way that support arrows work on WebDip is that you get a yellow arrow that ends at the exact middle of the move arrow that you're supporting. Okay? So for example, yeah, you can see my cursor, right? So Romania support Warsaw Galicia, it's a yellow arrow that ends in the middle of Warsaw to Galicia. So this Ankara unit, the support should be going here, right? It should be going to the middle of the Khan to Smyrna line, just like the Syria support is, but it's not. It's hard for me to tell exactly what it was misordered to support, but I am 100% sure that was a misordered support, and that is the reason he does not have Smyrna right now. So he must be kicking himself in the ass. That is incredibly unfortunate. Incredibly unfortunate indeed. So Italy's going to get Smyrna. Like I suggested, Austria decided to let Italy maybe lose Smyrna. which is a good move. There's some plausible deniability there that in a gunboat you wouldn't realize or know that Italy needed the extra supports. And if it wasn't for that horrendous misorder, he would have needed it, right? But gets Bulgaria, right? Uses Budapest to cut Romania because he's okay with losing the battle over Galicia, and he doesn't even do it. He doesn't even lose that battle because Russia decided Ukraine support Romania instead. And which was both needed and not needed. It was needed in the fact that he actually went through after Romania with two strengths. Serbia supports Budapest to Romania, but Serbia was cut by Bulgaria anyways. Interesting that Black Sea support held Bulgaria. That is a miscommunication and a miscoordination by Russia and Turkey, right? Turkey went, okay, Bulgaria's lost. I'm just going to cut Serbia with it. You're welcome, Russia. And Russia went, okay, I'm just going to, not win this Galicia war I could win in order to use Ukraine to support Romania so I can use Black Sea to support you, my friend, right? And if Bulgaria didn't move, they would have saved Bulgaria. And unfortunately, they had differing ideas about how to go about this. And that miscoordination cost them not only Bulgaria, but not taking Galicia as well. Now, the build from Norway is usable as a build in Sevastopol, and that will help greatly. It's going to be incredibly difficult to get past Russia here. Even if the IA dismantle Turkey, and they will, getting past this line of Black, Rum, Sev, Ukraine, Warsaw is incredibly difficult unless you go all the way around Silesia, and at that point, things get tricky because Austria is starting to threaten to get past stalemate lines. There's no growth for Turkey. I think we'll see a stab before we see anything beyond, certainly beyond losing Romania, maybe even losing Romania. All right. As far as the West goes, France still on this can't decide if he wants to go after England or Germany train. Unfortunate. Ooh, Italy with the attack on Marseille. That was cheeky. But, part of it's necessary. Because, like I said, once Italy's dismantled, he has to go west if he wants to continue this IA. So, it signals good faith to Austria, right? That you are going to go after France next and not Austria, because those are your two options. And, maybe it gets you a free build. And not only a free build, Iberia is completely undefended. So it would not only get Italy a build, it would probably get Italy all of Iberia as well. Because there's no way of stopping that army for France once it gets past Marseille. Between Gascony and Spain, there's just too many open options. Again, I'm not, except for Sevastopol, I'm going to ignore builds until we go through the moves. All right, Germany, complete defense mode. Russia tries to show friendship to England. Russia's like, hey man, I let you have Denmark, right? There was no growth opportunities for me afterwards. I know I took Norway, and I apologize, but here's your support hold to both to Denmark and to the North Sea. England's not having much of it, though. England's pulling back. He went to Norwegian and Heligoland land. He chose for Denmark to support hold Kiel rather than support Heligoland land to North Sea. He should have known that a single strength attack on North Sea wouldn't work. However, it's not unreasonable to think that that support hold as a form of offering an olive branch to Germany is more important than the North Sea. Well, more important than an empty North Sea. If France had the North Sea, I would be talking very differently about this. But especially with France turning on Germany like that and trying to play them off of each other, that support hold probably worth not getting into the North Sea right away. He can still get into the North Sea. And if Germany was, still pissed at England and using Kiel to, say, attack Denmark, then he wouldn't get the North Sea either. So it's not an unreasonable support hold. France still dicking around and not making progress. That's unfortunate. That's just sad, France. That's just sad. Builds, Army Trieste, still, right, telling Italy, you go west and be naval, I'll go north and be land. And Italy reciprocates likewise. Perfectly fine. Okay, so this was the first 3 years. That was winter of '03, and now we'll be beginning spring of 1904. I'm going to end part one here because both my recording software and YouTube have sad times when the video goes over a certain length. So I'm going to cut it here, but we will pick up in the spring of 1904 in part two.